So we're going to show you or talk about a lateral raise. Lateral raise, just as a reference, hopefully the name implies this, we're trying to work your lateral delts here. So this is a really undertrained muscle. Like if you don't do lateral raises, like you're not going to use it a lot in real life as anything but a stabilizer. So you'll typically, if we're going to choose just one shoulder exercise, it's going to be some kind of lateral raise. Dudes, my bros out there, if you want to look wider, you got to do lateral raises. But also, like for anybody, it's like if you're carrying groceries, right? That's a lateral raise. And so we talked about this in a few different of these videos. When it comes to like my preferred piece of equipment for lateral raise, it's actually a machine. And so we don't have that machine in this gym, which is our home garage gym. And so typically, if you're in a normal kind of industrial gym, you'll see machines with like an elbow pad that you can do this with. A lot of times those are really, really good. If you're in a fancy gym, you'll see ones with different kind of counterweights that you can use handles with. And the reason for that is because with dumbbells, it's not the end of the world, but the profile is not good. And I think we have a whole nother video on profiles in the welcome to hypertrophy section if you want to watch that. But basically with a dumbbell, we kind of know this instinctually. When we grab one from here to here, it's not really that hard, right? But from here to here, it gets exponentially harder. So it just goes so much harder, which means to get something that's hard enough or light enough to get into this range of motion, you have to pick a weight that's so light that you don't really get any kind of stimulus in this range of motion. So not that it's bad, it's just less effective. If you're at the home program, I mean, you literally have to use dumbbells. So or bands. Bands actually can be a good substitute for dumbbells with these. But if you don't have a machine, if you have a cable, so we're going to show you on initially. And so to get set up with a cable, our preferred way is actually to use your hand to brace, almost lean out a little bit. And so the reason for that is because if you don't, you're gonna have to really contract your core and brace. Because if you're standing there, you're gonna have to do a lot of core stabilization, which might distract you from this. You might be doing some leaning and stuff. So leaning, holding, kind of keeps you honest. And it makes you look really cool too. So, and so anyway, she's gonna come out, and as she goes, she's gonna think about touching the far wall. So you can't really see her, but she's trying to literally touch the far wall. She's trying to reach and touch, and she's coming down. She's letting that go all the way down to a nice little, almost a stretch position there. Reason cables are a little bit better than dumbbell is because the line of force is coming from that cable, which means even in this bottom position, this muscle is being worked, right? All the way to the top. The profile's still not perfect, but a little bit better than dumbbells. So once again, going all the way up, trying to reach that far wall. Just pause here for a second. One thing she's not doing, she could do, we could technically do this, right? But at this point, you can't see it from there, but this shoulder joint is starting to kind of manipulate. She's actually using a little bit more anterior than lateral there just to accomplish that range of motion because her joint stops here. So I sometimes see people when they're first starting, they're doing this thing, not the end of the world, but also totally fine to just come right to 90 degrees. It's all good, especially if that's more comfortable. You'll also be very humbled when you do this on a cable machine typically. So if though you're on the home program and you use dumbbells, once again, not the end of the world. She's gonna get set up, and once again, you have to pick a weight light enough though, where you can get to that T position. And one of the things, once again, hard to tell, maybe turn this way so we can see, she's not going straight off to the side. She's almost letting those dumbbells come a little bit in front of her, almost creating like a mini Y. Oh, sorry, we're blocked over there. And so she's not coming here. You could do this way, just most people it's not as comfortable. So she's letting her hands kind of, come in a little bit to accomplish the same. You get the same work in your lat, and it's actually arguably a little bit better for your shoulders. And so one of the things that I do program sometimes for my advanced clients, you don't really need this if you're intermediate, and rack those up, is if you're really worried about that bottom range of motion. I've tortured Viva with this a few times. You pick a weight that's light enough to where you get to failure here, and then immediately you put the weight down and grab a weight that's like literally 4 times heavier. And then you essentially do another set to failure where this is literally all you can do with the dumbbells. So you're supersetting to work that bottom position. If you've never worked out before, or if it's been years, do not do that. Like you don't need to do that. This is totally fine. But if you have some years on you and you're at home and all you have is dumbbells, you don't have machines or cables, that's a good superset to do. So something light enough to get to the top and then heavy enough to where this is a brutal kind of burnout to do. So yeah, biggest thing with the lateral raise, control it. Try not to do, this whole thing. And then like all exercises go, stop at a stop sign, control it, stop at a stop sign, every single time. So if you have any questions about a lateral raise, let me know.